Hello everyone, and welcome to this very special free channeling event, Adronis, the Mass Effect, 2015 to 2020. So this is, again, a once in a while type of free channeling event that I like to put on, just to usually give some important information that is basically in the matrix right now, and that in the next few minutes, Adronis is going to come through and provide further insight relating to the Mass Effect. So before we get started here, there are a couple of announcements. Firstly, for those of you who are tuning into the broadcast right now, you can again watch us on Google Plus or on YouTube. You can also take part in your interaction with the Q&A app that's available through the Google Plus Hangouts. So if you do have a question for Adronis, then just use the Q&A app there. Feel free to post your question. And Q&A will be done about the latter half of today's event. So again, the information Adronis is going to share, I don't have an approximate time, but I'm thinking probably between 45 minutes to 1 hour. And then we'll be moving on for around the last hour for the online channeling questions as well too. So feel free to share any questions you may have. And again, I appreciate everybody who's been a part of, who's going to be a part, I should say, of this particular event today, leaving your interaction behind. Again, it's always so exciting to receive questions from the audience. So again, thank you so much for being here. All right, so right now we're going to move into a couple of announcements. Won't be too long. We're going to be getting into the crux of the channeling here in just a few minutes. So there's an upcoming pay-per-view webinar that's happening this Saturday. It's called Expanded States. So you can go to consciousmatrix.com. It's $5.99 per participant. So you can feel free to check that out. We're basically going to be looking into different altered states of consciousness, seeing how people can actually naturally expand their own natural states to connect with the matrix, seeing your body as reality, connecting with other particular forms of higher dimensional consciousness, multi-dimensional consciousness, higher frequencies, and more. So it's going to be really, really exciting. So feel free to check that out. That's going to be starting this Saturday at 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. Eastern. So feel free to check that out. Again, that's at consciousmatrix.com. And available right now, if you go to consciousmatrix.com, you'll find the digital copy of this, but you can also go on Amazon and you can grab a copy of Rainbow Wisdom. So again, this has been a really, really amazing book. Again, it took me about 5 months to write, just on and off in between the busy sessions that I've been doing. But Rainbow Wisdom has been getting some really good feedback from the people that have already been able to grab the digital copy and take a read of it. So again, it's a short and sweet read, only about 108 pages. So feel free to check it out. There's a lot of really great information. It's all about conscious matrix communication. It's all about the essence behind CMC and looking into it through Rainbow Wisdom. So again, that is available on consciousmatrix.com. And again, you can get the link from my website that will take you to Amazon if you want to grab a physical copy of that. Okay, so that is that. And finally, some other big news is the Psychic Academy. So this is going to be launching on December 1st. For those of you who do not know what the Psychic Academy is, you can go to www.thepsychicacademy.com. That's thepsychicacademy.com. And starting from December 1st to December 7th, this is our range of time where we'll be hosting free trial classes. So all you have to do is go to the website. You'll see the little sign-in form there. Just leave your name and your email, hit submit, and you'll automatically be on our list of participants that will now have access to scheduling a free trial class. So feel free to go ahead and do that. Again, December 1st will be the first official day of the free trial classes. That after that week, then we'll be moving into the official classes for those who enroll with their own specific plans. So there are a multitude of different plans that are available as well too. The Psychic Academy is very, very extensive. For those who may be watching this broadcast right now, who have been part of my past online intuitive classrooms or intuitive adept classrooms, body regeneration healing, etc., this is so much more extensive. It really starts from the beginning, but even with the starting at the beginning, there's some really amazing and incredible insight that's going to be brought forward. It's all about really being able to see yourself living in very powerful inner empowerment and looking into how you can naturally access your psychic abilities, your intuition, your ability to perform healing, your ability to scan people, your ability to have really powerful empathic function, everything, just from A to Z, relating to spirituality, consciousness, psychic development, and more. It's a very, really, really powerful academy that we got here in the works, and it's online. So you can basically be anywhere in the world and choose the class that is effective for you, most effective for you through time, and being able to enroll in that. So please feel free to go ahead and check that out, thepsychicacademy.com. Okay, so now that the announcements are out of the way, we're going to go ahead and bring Adronis here in a moment. So for those of you who this is your very first time, if this is your very first look at Adronis, then you're in for quite a treat. Adronis just represents an aspect to my own higher self. I have been channeling him since December of 2008. He basically came through an automatic writing meditation that I was doing. And since that time, I have grown and nurtured this incredible type of connection through myself to synchronize together with Adronis. And so many people throughout the years have asked me, well, how do I exactly connect with Adronis? The best way I can put it is that our own brain waves are synchronized to the patterns that are identical in, or pretty much close to the form of identicalness, and being able to resonate those brainwave patterns into a higher frequency domain. So it's as if all of your brainwave patterns right here are interlocked together, so they form symmetry. And then a higher establishment, a higher vibrational consciousness is coming together as my brainwaves start to elevate. So I'm not leaving my body, I'm not going into some unconscious state or anything like that. It is just a heightened connection, it's a heightened state of connectivity, and a lot of people are capable of doing this. Conscious channeling is actually becoming a lot more easier and a lot more adaptable for a lot of others to perform through themselves. It really can be received as inspirational writing or inspirational speaking, inspirational artwork, anything that you feel that you're connecting to different extensions of your consciousness and you're bringing it out through creativity, through expression. The openness, the trusting, and the interpretation truly is the key here. So that's how I've been connecting with Adronis. Started getting into vocal channeling around spring of 2009 with him, and since that time it has been an amazing journey, meeting all different kinds of people, thousands from all over the world, and helping them understand their own potentials, helping them to show them their greatness, as I'm basically just attempting to still discover mine. And it's very, very interesting that just all the people that I've worked with, it's always helped me to kind of take like pieces of a puzzle and put them together in myself, and the same with them. So it's been a really, really unique experience. So if you are, in that sense, very, very new to the channelings with Adronis, then you're in for quite a treat. So what is the Mass Effect 2015-2020 all about? Well, in a nutshell, it really is just looking into the energies of momentum about where our civilization is going within the next 5 years. Adronis has basically shared with me quite often that we've basically reached a point of no return to where there's nothing humanity can do right now that will bring us back into the Dark Ages. We're in a very strong state of illumination right now. The Dark Ages are done. So what we're doing right now is we're attempting to maneuver through this rocky path, just being able to help transcend ourselves into a whole new paradigm of what is complementary to ourselves. That we're looking at a lot of these extremes that are coming into reality on a very large level, on a very large scale. But this is all part of us being able to look into the extremes as ourselves, as a collective consciousness, and it all reflects back to ourselves on an individualized level, and seeing how we're all just starting to shed away all these extremes. A lot's happening on the planet right now, sometimes very, very intense, and this has been shared since 2009. From my perspective, just saying that we're on a roller coaster, and we're going to have hills, we're going to have valleys, we're going to have these huge slopes where it's not going to be too bad, and then we're just going to come sliding, just flying down this immense hill, coming down, just waving your hands up in excitement or waving your hands up in fear and saying, get me off, get me off, get me off. I don't want to be here anymore, get me the hell off this ride. So it's all based upon a perspective, it's all based upon your choosing about, we have some really, really strong energies in the pot that's stirring this huge colander right now. So what are we going to do? We need to decide exactly what is best for us. So Adronis is going to give us an outlook into that paradigm between 2015 and 2020. Adronis refers to 2015 as the year of integration and 2016 as the year of illumination. So there's going to be a lot of great transformations taking place within these next couple of years. But again, we're also going to be looking into 2020. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and stop blabbing here. And I'm going to go ahead and bring Adronis through. And he's going to, again, enter the challenge state. So for those of you who, again, still have questions, please feel free to post your questions on the Q&A app. Basically, how the questions will be arranged is that there is no other moderator that's here. It's basically me coming out of the state just for a moment to address the question. And then I will be coming back into the state to bring Adronis back in to elaborate on the question. So it is kind of a dual dynamic mind here that's happening, shifting in and shifting out and coming back together to address the question, and then having Adronis provide insight on the question. Okay, so again, thank you everybody for your questions, and we'll get to that in the latter half of the broadcast. So I will go ahead now, bring Adronis in through the state, and we will get started for the Mass Effect 2015 to 2020. Here we go. We are here at this time, and we bid you greetings, and thank you very much for the opportunity of this interaction today. I am Adronis of Sirius, sending love, appreciation, and gratitude to all who are tuning in to this particular transmission being brought forward through your internet collective consciousness. What we would like all viewers, all participants to do at this time is simply allow yourselves to get relaxed, get comfortable, and tune in to the vibrations of Sirius so that you may synchronize, harmonize, and align to all of the information that we have to share. Also understand that all of the information that we shall provide today is simply that of our perspective, our point of view. For all knowledge, all information, all creation itself resides within your very heart, being, and soul. We are here this evening, this day, this morning, wherever it may be of your time, to elaborate on great changes that are taking place upon your planet. That you have already experienced a very wild roller coaster ride, as this conduit has put it, in regards to 2014, the year of unfoldment. And the reason why it has been called the year of unfoldment is because all of the ideas are now being put on the table. You have now reached yourself into a point of what you would know as a culmination period, where many different innovations, where many different inventions, with many of these ideas are now being placed upon the table, ready to be integrated. And that is what 2015 is all about. It is about the idea of reinventing yourselves through the innovations that have been placed throughout the year of 2014, to where this will affect all levels of your consciousness. From what you would know as your own personal levels, from what you would know as your own economic levels, your educational levels, your political levels, all levels that apply. There will be certain passings of celestial events that will be taking place around the year of 2015 that are basically, in that sense, helping to stir this proverbial pot. This will represent the idea of, in that sense, of certain forms of comets and asteroids that are coming within your star system around the local neighborhood area of your planet Earth that will allow certain shifts within your magnetic spectrum, that will allow these forms of energies to become more prominent within your reality. There is nothing in that sense to which you would understand as severely impacting or catastrophic in that way that we can sense that is coming through 2015. And even more than that, there really is no form of major worldwide catastrophe that's coming toward any of you anytime soon in regards to the state of absolute momentum. The momentum right now is representing, yes, some rocky paths. There are some terrains here that may be somewhat unsettling. But basically, this is all part and parcel of the effect of you generating a mass effect. The mass effect is all about an inertia. It is all about a momentum. And that as you continue to ride this stream forward through 2015, well into 2020, 2020 will be the accomplishment point to where you reach the top of one particular mountain. Now, you will then move down the mountain and up a bigger one that will move into culmination approximately around the year of 2050. So around these 30-year gap between 2020 and 2050, you will be moving up a much larger form of mountain that has more for you. The mountain of 2020 will simply be looked at as a very small hill in comparison to the Mount Everest that is coming within the year of 2050. So again, we will focus more on 2015 to 2020. 2015, the year of integration, you will notice that there will be certain forms of inventions that are looking to have the opportunity to show themselves representative of the replacement of your own natural power on your planet. Now, this is already happening more and more. There are many different constructs that are coming forward. Many have already asked about the idea of about free energy that is coming upon your planet. Is it possible that we will have free energy? Is it possible that these particular devices that may be in the reflection of someone like Nikola Tesla to actually bring these types of energetics into being, will these become a large reflection into your year of 2015? It will certainly be talked about, but it will not be implemented. The closest form in regards to what you would know as your, shall we say, energy of the West will function more so into the idea of what you would know as your solar, your tidal, and your wind energy. There are also other particular plans in the making relating to that of geothermal plants. But the whole idea is that there will be more retaliation in regards to the areas of your own North American Western area of your planet representing nuclear power plants and their demand for immediate shutdown. And this will be happening more and more and more. There will also be other particular forms of innovations within your own medical science relating to the idea of laser and crystalline technology. Now again, this will not be bare, as it were, but it simply will represent the idea that certain laser forms of technologies, crystalline forms of technologies that are embodied into your standard interfaces of medical practices will become much more outspoken, which will become much more available to many of you in regards to, shall we say, overshadowing the idea of your typical forms of medical and pharmaceutical industries. There will be more people who understand more of the quantum level of mechanics in regards to medicine. Now again, these people already do exist. They are already quite prominent within your Western hemisphere of your planet. But they will become much more identified as many of the news sources that are taking place upon your planet through your year of unfoldment are now starting to get a much more stronger momentum in regards to popularity and publicity. And so you will discover that there will be these particular forms of medical devices that basically work within the quantum fields that will allow certain forms of repair to take place in regards to, shall we say, self-discovery, self-implementation. These quantum particular devices can also be what you would know as biofeedback, but they also represent certain forms of laser-based qualities, again, crystalline-based technologies as well too. A step up from what you would know as your common quantum biofeedback. So there will be certain forms of innovations and integrations within many of your different establishments medically throughout your areas of Canada, the United States, Mexico, etc. So again, more of these particular forms are popping up. They have been wanting to pop up for quite some time, but it is basically allowing the collective consciousness to reach a certain point where these energies in that sense are now applicable to the idea of looking at it much more in-depthly, having a second look, a much more deeper look. And so these will be very common practices in regards to your alternative medical fields. Some of you may be wondering in that sense about your own political campaigns, about what we can expect in 2015, 2016, relating to the idea of the flow of political agendas. The whole idea is that much of your own collective consciousness is not being fooled that much anymore in regards to the idea of your political systems. The whole aspect is that many of you feel very hopeful relating to the idea of having someone, shall we say, voted for within your time of 2016 in regards to how this will take place. That particular arrangement will be taking another form. There will be a version in regards to another particular type of political campaign, as it were, that will be following up within your fall of 2016. You have already been very familiar, many of you, we are certain, relating to the idea of a conduit that you have referred to as Bashar, that has stated that approximately through the year of the fall of 2016, everything will change. That is correct, as we have already confirmed this also. Again, this has to do with a multitude of many different forms occurring upon your planet at once, through the idea of what you would know as celestial passings, through what you would know as monetary state redevelopment, through what you would know as political transformation, through what you would know as unification happening on many different educational levels, through the idea of everything that you feel would represent the idea of exchange upon your planet is now starting to become brewed within the pot. The whole idea is that many of you are attempting to recreate or reboot the idea of a monetary structure between the years of 2015 and 2020. Yes, this is something that is in the works, but it must be nurtured appropriately. It is not a sudden impact. It is not a quantum leap in regards to your own monetary exchanges. We want to share with many of you that there are a lot of transformations happening between these next 5 years, between 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, 2020. Within these particular years themselves, that is going to take place. That is going to happen. So the whole idea here is that everything relating to transformation needs to be nurtured. It's taking one step at a time and being able to walk forward, not feeling that you can leap 20 feet in the air and go to the other side of the cliff that is far, far in distance. So the whole idea here is that yes, this is going to happen. There will be changes in your political agendas. There will be changes in your own monetary systems. There will be change in educational formats. Many different forms of educations in that sense are now going to start breaching away from the idea of your atypical forms of public schooling and moving more into alternatives. Community-based schooling, online-based schooling, other particular forms of private alternative institutions. Fractal group thinking at universities, which represents, again, a very, very small amount of, shall we say, presence in that way. But this is basically representing the idea that there are no students, that there are no teachers. There are only facilitators and participants. Those who are able to share the commonalities, the common fundamentals relating to education, relating to development, relating to skill sets that are basically open to the idea of a group mind mentality. This will not become much more in effect prominently until your year of approximately 2025. But right now, it is starting to make its peak, as it were. So 2015 representing the idea of the year of integration, that you will notice that you are moving into much more intense examples of what the collective consciousness is doing as it shifts itself into a metamorphosis of a much more extended mirror. There will be more intensities relating to the small pockets of your planet representing war. Because what is happening right now is more so of education, educating those responsible who are continuing to attack one another to realize that it's no longer necessary. So there will be certain forms of campaigns that will be taking place in regards to educational formats pertaining to your own alternative media that are assisting further in the reducing of these particular wars. The only way these wars are going to absolutely cease is when there is enough education freely available to realize that war is no longer the answer. That's the key. It is not about picketing. It is not about the idea of saying stop the war, stop the war, stop the war. It's more so on the idea of looking into the people that are responsible for the wars to where they feel that they are doing a service and realizing more of their own disservice. This will come through the idea of functioning campaigns, outreach and outsource centers that will allow themselves to have some type of impact, again, through your media, through many different alternative channels, and through the idea of more mass meditation groups that are occurring upon your planet to actually being able to sift highly the heat that has been brought forward upon this planet relating to the idea of violence, relating to the idea of poverty, relating to the idea of immense suffering. The more that there can be this particular education, showing others that through communication, that through meditation, that through intention, and that processing that through the interpretation of action is what is going to cool the planet down. This is basically what's happening of why there is so much fighting, because there is so much extremes happening within your physical reality right now that have reached the crossing point after December 21st, 2012, that many of you are very, very afraid about what is coming. Right now, you don't have a deadline. Right now, you do not have something on a global level that says, on this year, this is going to take place. You're past that now. You are past the lines of ancient prophecy. You are past the lines of feeling that there must be some type of due date that is being brought forward to your collective consciousness. The mass effect is working together symbiotically with the planet to allow this upliftment to occur. You are shifting into different layers of higher dimensional qualities each and every single day that you exist. You are noticing more and more about how reality is much more intensely and intimately symbiotically reflective with you. And so again, throughout these years of 2015 to 2020, you will start to notice much more of an intensity with this. You will also start to notice that become much more popular in your own society is the power of consciousness. It will actually be, as you would call it, quite hip, quite trendy to become quite expansive in mind, to become into meditation, to become into consciousness expansive techniques, to look into the idea of these forms that assist in your health, of looking into the power of the now, into the reinforcement of positive energy. This will start to greatly attain itself into a much more higher platform throughout these particular years. This is wonderful news to report, because many of your forms of culture right now are not so dismayed to the idea of looking into the power of their own consciousness. They are becoming curious about it. They are asking questions. It is no longer about the bland degree of modern science to where consciousness has no role within the equation whatsoever. That is starting to be discussed a lot more. That is starting to move much more into many different panel discussions, into many different orientations of different educational systems throughout your planet. Understand that many of the innovation leaders, if we were to look at countries on your planet, function together with three particular types: Russia, China, India. These are the three particular countries that are beginning very intense innovations that will allow the reshaping of consciousness together on your planet, that will then spread to the West, and that will then spread the tendrils throughout all other areas of the countries together. Russia, China, and India. You can also look into the idea of what you would often refer to as the BRICS alliance. These particular countries that have not been mentioned are also in association with this transformation, this innovation taking place. The whole idea is that as they start to show more of the innovations through themselves, of what they are becoming, for example, the world will follow suit. The whole idea in regards to the diminishing of many of your wars will begin with the country that you would know as Russia. These are all just happening because you are looking more into the idea of how negotiation is becoming more prominent, that you will see through the enactments of this country and in other countries that follow to the idea of what you would know as the BRICS alliance. You'll understand how many other countries are now signing on to the idea of this particular type of alliance to end the idea of what you would know as your wars, your poverty, your environmental chaos. All of that is now starting to subside, and by the year of 2020, you will start to see how there will be certain technological innovations to cleaning your air, to purifying your air, to cleaning your water, to allowing certain forms of environmental rehabilitation to take effect. And here's the biggest kicker of them all. The newest inventions that will be based upon your planet will come through your youth, not through your elders. We will repeat that again. The newest forms of inventions, of innovations that will be coming upon your planet that will be responsible for making this shift in regards to the cleanliness of your planet, in regards to this rehabilitation, will come from your youth, not from your elders. So basically what is happening is that there are certain forms of children that have already been programmed with a certain form of synthesis of codes that have been relayed technologically through them, throughout their own birthing upon this planet, to where they are already committed to transforming these devices into solid reality, to helping you to clean up your oceans, to helping you to create the idea of reinventing yourselves to replenish your planet through its nature, through its air, through its water. Looking more so into the idea of organic housing as well. This will start to become more prominent. There will be certain issues that will also come up around this time relating to your over-sensualization, as it were, of technology. The whole idea is that many of you will look more deeper into the idea of the common effects of technology on your planet to see how many of them are trance-inducing. And that many of you in that sense are becoming much more mindful of this. It will start to play itself out a little bit more throughout the years, but understand that around this 5-year span, this is what's going to create the idea of moving into the innovation of looking into technology that you know is causing harm, regardless if it is minute or if it is major. To allowing yourself to look into more of the synthesis of other degrees of technology that work together in assistance as tools. So not feeling that every single day you are being spent upon your social media, or every single day that the internet has a grasp upon you. It is more so in the idea of looking into the innovations about how nature itself is your living internet. And that there are certain people upon your planet right now that have received such amazing guidance pertaining to how nature can benefit you, that it is a transformational opportunity for others to look into nature to actually access information rather than your internet. We are not stating that your internet is looking to be abolished or that you are feeling any particular form of dismay from it, but it is more so looking into the idea about how the energies of nature can serve you in so many different ways, as this is the living internet, the matrix itself. One moment. And so, nature is the course to allowing yourselves to move into the alignment of what you truly wish to achieve through your life. 2015, 2016, yes, we'll have some very intense forerunning aspects of yourselves to look at. You are going to see much more of an intense society. 2016 and 2017 will be of the ultimate culmination of this particular form of fusion, of this incredible voltage relating to the transformations upon your planet, to where 2018, 2019, and 2020 will represent the bridge to take all this immense surging tidal wave of energy and allow itself to spread itself out. We would liken it to the idea as if you were to have a small cut piece of bread and are placing a very large slab of butter in the center. 2014, 2015, 2016, 2017 represent the placement upon this butter on this piece of bread. Taking that butter knife, 2018, 2019, 2020, spreading it alongside the bread. That would be the best form of analogy that we can give. 2018, 2019, 2020, you will be looking at a very different type of Earth. You are looking at different forms of innovations in regards to creativity, in regards to transformational educational platforms, in regards to innovations of political agendas that are now complementary to the collective, rather than the idea of the service of higher and the misuse of lower. So these will start to take impact much more further. There may be the common question that between 2015 and 2020, will there be a much more larger scale of extraterrestrial disclosure? There will be certain opportunities that in areas of your planet, certain forms of contacts will be taking place that will become much more prominent. You will start to notice that the personalized experiences of many will become much more prominent in this way. In fact, if you were able to take a survey at the time of 2020, between these next 5 years, you may discover that the majority of people upon your planet have had some type of contact, that they just may not be very familiar about what it is. It may just be symbolized as a dream. It may just be something they feel is imagination. Nonetheless, they have had contact, and you will notice that the majority of them will start to come forward a much deal further in a much more heightened capacity. We're not saying that the idea of mass global contact is not possible. It's just very unlikely in regards to the years of 2015 to 2020. This must be handled very, very carefully. We understand how many of you would like to have a very large global first contact where all of the capital nations across your planet are now having extraterrestrial conveyances placed upon their lawns and saying, "Greetings, humans, here we are." That is not to say that that will not happen. It will just not really happen in regards to the feeling of momentum between your years of 2015 to 2020. However, there will be certain sightings that will be taking place upon that time. There will be certain celestial events that will pique your curiosity further to realizing the idea that around this time, many of you upon the planet will realize that you are not alone in the universe, and that you are realizing that Earth is becoming much more prominently visited. You will actually be able to discover that through many different events that are taking place, that are helping to shape much of your planet around this time, that many of these innovations that are taking place were actually implemented in regards to behind-the-scenes intervention with extraterrestrial cultures. This is representing the idea of what you would consider to be your new leadership campaigns, are actually in many different ways through different countries across your world being worked upon behind the scenes through the cooperation of extraterrestrial civilizations. This will start to become much more noticeable to the one who becomes mindful and looking into the mechanics of the situation. This is taking place. This is happening. There are many different civilizations that are communicating with many of your particular world leaders on a common level, on a very, very frequent basis. You will also start to notice that there will be very strong curiosities representing the discovery of underground and underwater installations that are that of extraterrestrial origin that will occur around this 5-year to 6-year span. You will also understand that there will again be much more spacecraft, a lot more sightings within your sky that are basically attempting to spell out messages. That the particular orientation and formatting of these particular forms of spacecraft are basically creating what you would know as a type of crop circle in the sky. We would ask you to watch for this. This will become apparent within this 5 to 6 year span. So again, there is much to look forward to between 2015 and 2020. We realized that we could spend a great deal of time sharing with you certain forms of innovations, understandings, and amazing results of transformations pertaining to the energies that you all individually are contributing to allow this collective goal to be attained. What we can state most positively is that your world is on the up and up. It is moving into higher transitions of being. It is moving into different forms of shifts. You are noticing that there may even be certain forms of celestial forms of material, of anomalies that are occurring around your solar system. This is correct. We will attempt to provide certain forms of information on this now. Between your planet of Saturn, there is a particular anomaly event that is taking place from what you would know as a cloaked singularity. What we mean by that is that it is a singularity that is not imposing. It is basically hiding behind a layer of spatial skin, as it were, that is allowing certain forms of integration as a technology to assist in the further upliftment of your star system altogether. You understand that this particular anomaly, this artificialized singularity existing behind the spatial skin, is all part and parcel of a certain interventional effect that is assisting in the further upliftment, transformation, filtering, and residual transformations altogether to allowing your star system to uplift in regards to momentum, in regards to swing, in regards to spin. This is basically what is happening around this period. It is of no coincidence in that way that through one of your latest films in regards to what is known as Interstellar, that there is in that sense an anomaly contained around the area of Saturn. This in that sense is indeed a very true enactment. This particular singularity has been with you for approximately 13 years of your time, and is now continuing to develop itself further, expand itself further, working together with the synthesis in chorded representation and relationship between your sun, your planets, and the singularity itself as it continues to expand. This particular singularity is not harmful in any particular way. It can only be picked up in regards to certain bands that are recognized in regards to certain visual spectrums, through what you would know as certain forms of thermal, infrared, X-ray, or other forms, depending upon, again, the quality of the material of technology. Again, this will not cause any particular harm at all. This is simply what you would refer to in the greatest way possible as an energetic filter, a vibratory filter, a dimensional overlay, assisting you in the torque necessary to allow your star system to continue to travel harmoniously throughout the galaxy without interruption. It is, in that sense, an engineering premise, an engineering quality. So again, this is one particular phenomenon that is contained within your star system now. There are thousands of different spacecraft constantly in a formation as a ring between your area of your planet Earth and your moon. This would basically be known as the spacecraft Armada ring. This ring is both visible and not visible. It is what you would consider to be an interdimensional chain. Your planet is under heavy guardianship. That many of you who may fear the idea of certain forms of bombardments that may occur upon your planet or within the vicinity of your planet will not take place. Upon the year of 2016, there will be several different comet-based passes near your planet. These particular forms of comets are mostly artificialized. They are spacecraft conveyances. Other particular comets that will be in the range of 2016 will make catapult or slingshot effects around your sun, coming back into your inner and outer planet areas, depending upon the amount of energy required to be spruced up in that way, or in that sense stirred, to allow your planet to allow energy in regards to its transformation of manifestation collectively to take place. It is very similar to what you would know as having the tides of magnetics come in to the shores. Your planet simply represents the shore. The magnetism of these passing comets and other celestial phenomena from planetary-sized conveyances that are constantly coming in and out of your sun are all part and parcel of the generation of what you would know in a certain form of analogy as the moon pushing and pulling the tides. This is exactly what many of these spacecraft are doing. They are not just randomly deciding to pop in here just for a visit without some type of meaning behind it. The coordination into many of these particular planetary-sized vessels that are emerging from the stargate of your own sun is all part and parcel of an orchestration. These orchestrations are all helping to create certain forms of tidal effects of waves. Understand that much in regards to your coronal mass ejections is being implemented through the form of these large conveyances. That the spewing of the coronal mass ejections are caused through the idea of appropriated engineering of other extraterrestrial forces in that way, helping to uplift this star system, helping to uplift your planet, helping to uplift all planets in symmetry together on your particular personalized galaxy here, which we refer to as your system of Terra, to allow itself to move into higher increments of dimensionality. So again, there is a great deal to look forward to. Again, we could go on for many hours of your time to give you more, shall we say, understandings of information, of insight that have a momentum to come. What we are attempting to do here right now is giving you a somewhat larger nutshell for you to evaluate through yourselves. Please do not just take our word for this. Take a look at everything that we have shared and being able to discern through yourself what you feel is important to you. It is not our duty, as it were, to do such a thing. We are only showing you opportunities that are on the horizon. We are showing you innovations that are in the works, and it is all up to you to decide exactly how you wish to take this information. This is not the gospel. This is not written in stone, but these are certain forms of inertias to where we feel most likely many of you will be moving into the momentum of the mass effect, 2015 to 2020, where the mass of your populace is now moving into the breach period where your love becomes saturated all over the planet. This is where you're going. It will be a very, very exciting time for many of you that are upon the planet right now to allowing yourselves to see how much the world is changing. When you see extremes happening collectively, many of you will instantly feel, oh my goodness, what's happening? We're all going to die. No. All of the extremes in our particular perspectives are a wonderful thing to see, because this is basically telling you that through the grandest state of extreme that comes forward into your collective consciousness, there will be an equal and opposite reaction in regards to that extreme that will bring it into balance. You are not experiencing a new world order. That has never, ever been the case. You are past that idea. Many of you still feel that there may be some type of governmental control here, that there may be something going on behind the scenes to where we will all be instituted into a new world order. Pardon us for saying, but that's what you've been going through for thousands of years, and it's not new. It is all part of the idea that you're moving into a new world integration. You're moving into the aspect of that. You have already been part of such a system for thousands and thousands of years, since your time of Atlantis. That was the idea of a new world order that had collapsed, risen with certain empires, collapsed again, risen with another empire, collapsed again, risen with another empire, collapsed again. Why do you think they continue to collapse? Because the idea of these new world orders are not sustaining. They are self-destructive. They have a self-destruct button that is just being reached closer and closer and closer and closer and closer to until it is finally pressed, and then poof. The civilization that represents the tyranny of that energy collapses. This will simply be the idea where you are cushioned to the idea of seeing this foundation in regards to many of these systems that would love to create a new world order, who are not going to be able to. And while they collapse, you will therefore be cushioned, and allowing the forms of this cushioning to represent grassroots innovations, to looking at the idea of people-powered facilities, people-powered foundations that will start to rise to where the ashes of the old paradigms fall. There has never, ever, 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 ever been a successful new world order ever on your planet, ever. We want to make sure that you are very, very aware of this. That's not where your society is going anymore. You have tipped the scale to where light itself is attempting to bring you up to this very large mountain. By 2020, you will start to reach its summit. By 2050, you will go down this mountain and you will go up an even larger mountain that will represent the Mount Everest to a hill. That is where you are going collectively. Please, 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 for the sake of your benefit, do not concern yourself about the feeling of the implementation of a new world order. That is not the agenda, and that has not been the agenda in regards to the state of allowance to the times that this innovation of what you would know as the baby boomers to where you are right now, the post-atomic era into the current era, that has never been your agenda. So again, look into what serves you rather than what doesn't. If you continue to play the games of extremes, You are only seeing how the drama dominates your reality to where you feel helpless because you are feeling completely disempowered with yourself. You do not understand the mechanisms about what the reflections are attempting to tell you. It is the creator being overwhelmed by all the reflections that they're able to see that they themselves were responsible for creating in the first place. So be very, very mindful in regards to all the energies that you are playing with that represent extremes. Again, this flows back to your standard physics. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. And this is where you are going collectively to allow the extremes of what no longer serves you into what does. And as you start to implement this and begin to bring positive reinforcement into all of these extremes, you reach a neutral balance because this becomes natural to you. That's how vibratory physics works. That's how you all operate. You're only looking at your mirror reflections. There's nothing else to look at. So be very aware of how you place your energy in regards to the state of the allure of your melodrama upon your planet. We thank you for the opportunity of this interaction. And we will now take a moment and allow the form of question and answers to take effect here throughout this particular channeling event, this day of your time. We will now return to the conduit as we now adjust and prepare for the questions that are to come. Thank you. Okay, guys. Some great information there. So again, if you guys do have some certain questions that you want to post up that you haven't posted up already, please feel free to do so. Again, there's a lot of questions on the particular chat here on the question app, so I may not be able to get around to all of them. So I'm basically just going to choose that's something that may be very effective for the collective individuals to look at. So I'm just going to take a moment now and look through the questions, and then I'll read that question out loud from the questionee, so to speak, and Adronis will come back in and provide information on that question. Again, for all of you who are wondering, this is an archived event, so this will be recorded. So it is public domain, so feel free to just go to my YouTube account or to your Google+, and you can access this after our session today. So it is recorded and it is archived for you. Okay, so I'm just going to go ahead and a lot of questions. Very nice. Okay, so I'm trying to think if I should go to the top or the bottom. Okay, well, there's a +6 here, so I'm going to talk to George Monolov. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Okay, so George asks, greetings, Adronis, unconditional love and joy to all. I would like to ask, what would be the most appropriate approach to influence and assist children in families on personal level and as groups during the change over the years 2015, 20, and beyond? Thank you very much, George. So I'll bring Adronis in and he can elaborate on this further. We thank you very much, George, for your question. The whole idea really is that understanding that your children represent the essence of innocence. So as they are representing the idea of being ever present, of being ever playful, of being ever joyful, it is the parent's job to continue to encourage that. The whole idea is that you are simply becoming the feeling of guardian, the facilitator for your children so that they can continue to express themselves in the delight and the feeling of beautiful innocence of essence throughout your world. The children are actually here to instruct you. You are here to allow their encouragement to take place. You are helping them to ground themselves, realizing exactly what areas upon certain activities are safe to do and what may not. Obviously, you do not want them playing in the middle of a freeway. So the whole idea is that the parent's job in that continual form is to continue to allow discernment filters to be placed, to allow yourself to watch over your children so that you can ground them. Because the children themselves are fresh from spirit. They enjoy working together with the planet. They enjoy embarking themselves upon nature. They enjoy working with the animals. They enjoy playing with you. They enjoy playing with everything around them. It is a pure joy of innocence. That is being the instruction. Look deeply into your own children, and if you do not have any children, look into other children and seeing how the power of the inner child is helping you to become the infinite scope and the infinite expanse of allowing yourself to have yourself personally prosper as well as the collective. The more that you move into the innocence of the inner child, the more that you will allow this expansion of amazing, of incredible consciousness come forward, representing the idea of your own psychic and intuitive enhancements, representing your ability to heal yourself or provide facilitation for the healing of others. All the parent has to do is keep their children grounded. That's it. That's your role. That's all you have to do. Listen to your children. Listen to how they decide to play. Listen to how they decide to enact, and work together as the discernment filters. This will become much more understood between the span of what you would know as the mass effect. But again, it still will continue to develop itself further. It is not on a majority scale, but more parents are starting to realize the beauty, the innocence, the joy that they are incorporating into themselves through the facilitation of the children. The children are what you would consider to be one of the most purest reflections on your planet, alongside with the animals and the plants and the elemental kingdoms together in totality with your earth. So they are very pure reflections. Allow themselves to instruct you in regards to how you can have fun with life. Look into the simplicities of what they enjoy through the fundamentals of colors, through the idea of the feeling of objects, through the idea of how they want to laugh and giggle at simple little sounds in your reality. They are beautiful beings. So allowing yourself to really encapsulate that innocence with your children as they are instructing you how to play, how to be here, how to be present, and you are helping them to be grounded so that they can continue to walk upon the earth, work upon the earth, and helping that love become spread throughout the entire planet. We thank you. All right, thank you, George. Hope that answers your question. So we will move on to the next question here. Okay, so we do have, I'm just going to kind of look around the rankings here to see what other ones are here. Okay, we do have a +5 here for Ben Miller. Okay, so Ben asks, is there anything we as individuals can do spiritually, mentally, or vibrationally to encourage contact with additional benevolent ET entities and their societies in the coming years? All right, thank you, Ben. One more. We thank you very much, Ben, for your question. The whole idea is that, is there anything that you can do? Yes. Be yourselves to the grandest degree, to where you are cooperating to yourselves, you are listening to yourselves, you are getting along with each other, you're taking care of your planet to show other races, hey, look how responsible we are, look how we're taking care of our planet, looking how we're taking care of each other, looking how I can take care of myself. As you continue to do this, more and more extraterrestrial civilizations will be very happy to communicate with you. Here's the funny thing. In many different connections to ourselves, to how we are able to branch ourselves off through cords and connecting with many different civilizations, there are approximately, through your span between 2012 and in this current moment, as you understand time to be, there are approximately 2,214 different civilizations that we have personally encountered that would love to actually be able to interact with you personally, collectively, dearest human beings. 2,214. They already know exactly where you are. They actually are already telling us about certain individuals who they really do appreciate and would like to have personalized interactions with. However, because there are certain levels of lack in regards to the continuity of arrangement vibrationally for a telepathic transmission to come through, these particular forms of transmissions cannot be established. It's not to say that they will never be established, but it is more so of you taking a cue from yourself to realize, again, it is about the purity of your innocence. It is about how well you are looking into the mechanics of reality, realizing that, yes, this is a game, but it's helping me to understand my own discernment. That as I look into an extreme, I'm now able to generate an opposite reaction to that extreme through positive reinforcement and bringing in a life that feels fulfilling to me. Here's a question that we would like to pose to all of you. Would you like to interact with a civilization that has absolutely no idea that you exist, that does not even really understand the nature of themselves, doesn't even really understand their capabilities, and basically would be quite freaked out in meeting you? Not really. You have to allow that particular civilization to take its own course, to take its own time, as it were, to being able to establish themselves. We are not saying that it is not possible for many of you to have personalized contact. As we just mentioned, within the years to come, a majority of you will realize that personalized contact has happened. But the only reason why personalized contact has happened is because we are helping you to get back on the course that you have told us to tell you back in exchange. That's it. We're simply the messages in a bottle. We're the ones that are floating upon the shores to where you are sitting upon the beach. You look in the distance, you see that message in a bottle, and you grab it. And as you open it up, you take a look at the message. Oh my goodness, this is what I just asked for a certain time ago. That's it. That is the nature of our existence relating to your current relationship with us right now, to be messages in a bottle. As you start to assort yourselves together, as you start to arrange yourselves individually and collectively, and start to see how you are working together with your planet, as you listen to your planet, as you work in symbiosis with your planet, as you transform your planet in regards to living conditions, so that there is no more starving, so that there is no poverty, so that there is no mistreatment of other people on your planet, this is a grand accomplishment. And this is what will allow other particular civilizations to come through. The nature of our agenda right now, working together with many of you, pertaining to individualized contacts, is to give you a nudge. That's it. We're not here and say, here, human, play with us. Come on board our planet. You don't ever have to come back to Earth again. No, that is not our arrangement. And that is very, very rare for anyone upon your planet to receive. Not impossible, but very rare. We are simply here to nudge you, to stating exactly, hey, you came to this planet because you felt that you were able to take responsibility for yourself and become the example for all others within your reality, so they could see exactly who you are becoming and in their own way transform themselves. You came upon this planet and said, I can do this. There's nothing I can't do. I am spirit, I am soul, I am mind, I am now body. I can now allow myself to play in this planet's regime through its game that it has been playing for quite some time and do my part to help out. That's why you're here. And all we're doing is simply being the moderators in the background, giving you that nudge so that you can continue to develop yourselves innerly, having that innerness come together, radiating that light because you are an example, feeling other people magnetized to your energetic fields. Oh my goodness, they realize something. Now they change themselves. They radiate to another person. Oh my goodness, I realize something. They change themselves and they radiate that energy out. And that continues to happen. This is what you would refer to as your snowball or your 100th monkey effect. Right now, you can almost refer to it as a 1000th monkey effect, because that is how intense it is getting. It is a very, very large, colossal snowball that is happening here. So again, continue to work upon yourself, because as much as you love us, we love you as well. Very, very much. We love you so much that we know that we will not get involved with what you know you were certain you were able to accomplish by coming upon this planet to do. That's why you're here. You knew that this can happen. You knew that this can be done. You knew that all you have to do is look into yourself to realize the love has always been there, become the vibration of that love, radiate that energy outwards through your reality externally, and seeing how all these interfaces of beings are all just inner extensions of yourself, coming back into harmony. This is happening more and more upon your planet. When you start to do this, the civilizations in regards to galactic inauguration will follow. We thank you. All right, so thank you very much, Ben. Okay, so moving down the line here, let's see if I can go down the page a little bit more. Okay. So we have one here from Eric Noonan. Eric asks, do you have any techniques that one could use if one is having trouble letting go. For example, not allowing negative events, emotions to drag one's vibration down, as well as allowing yourself to learn the lesson of that energy. Okay? We thank you for your inquiry. The whole idea is that, as we have stated in regards to a particular video that has already been produced upon this conduit's internet channel, is that letting go is a result. It is not an instance of action. The idea of letting go cannot happen until you realize exactly what it is that you've been holding on to. Because if you're holding on to two things here with your eyes closed and your senses numbed, you're not even realize what you're holding on to. You just know that you're just holding on to something, and there's no form of innovation that will allow you to let go of that. And that's basically what's happening with yourself. The technique we would suggest to you is, here's you, here's your fear. Look into it. And that's the greatest form of technique. Understand why you hold such tension, such fear, such anger, such despair, such depression to yourself. Why is it there? Why is it happening? Well, because people in my reality since I was a little kid told me that I would never amount to anything. Told me that I would never be a success, told me I would always be a failure. My grades were never good in school. I was never able to get an academic achievement. I was never able to go to college. Girls don't like me. Guys don't like me. I just feel that I can't get along with anybody. People tell me I'm too shy. People tell me I speak too much, etc., 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 etc. That's the whole idea. That's where all these chains, that's where all these kinks in the knot of the cords of energy are here. They are sharing with you these particular forms of inadequacies that you have with yourself. So they are sharing that, well, how do I feel when I'm going on a first date? I feel very, very nervous. I feel very, very anxious. I don't feel I deserve to be with this person. There you go. There is a kink in the flow right there. And again, you cannot let go of it until you truly understand it. Why do I feel I'm not worthy to be in a relationship? Because I was always laughed at. I was always teased as a younger child or as a young teenager, thinking that I would never be able to be happy with that I'm always so shallow, or I'm this, I'm that, and the other thing. Now look into yourself and realize, is there a possibility of something right now in regards to positive reinforcement that will allow me to feel good about that particular woe that I'm holding on to? Well, here I am right now. I've been able to take action. I've been able to have the courage to be right here, waiting for this first date to happen, waiting for this relationship to take place. I've committed myself to take action. Oh, that feels really, really good. And now you're starting to encourage yourself about everything that you have done in regards to your encouragement to move into action about being where you are right now. It doesn't even have to relate to that. It can relate to money. It can relate to career. It can relate to family. It can relate to friends. All of that are just particular forms of inadequacies that you are holding on to yourself. And do you know why you're holding on to it? Because you don't know your strengths. You don't know where you feel that you have done representing positivity. You have become more and more and more contained within the idea about what you have not done, what you have quote unquote screwed up on, rather than the idea of looking into positive reinforcement. Adopt positive reinforcement into all the areas of inadequacies that you are holding on to. And this will allow you to move into a completely different extreme. Now I'm going to start focusing on my strengths. We would like to ask all of you to create a top 10 list of the strengths that you naturally hold, and write that down on the biggest type of poster that you can find and place it in an area of your house that you always are in on a very frequent basis. Maybe your bedroom, maybe your front room, maybe your kitchen, etc. But create a very large poster, 10 wonderful strengths about yourself. And as you start to do this, positive reinforcement becomes part of your reality. You are now starting to advance on that a little bit more, creating paintings that reflect that strength, creating other particular forms of symbolisms that represent that strength, old photographs that you may feel was a time of great accomplishment, placing that on your wall as well. Saturate yourself into the strengthening attributes that you know you naturally hold. Sometimes you may need to talk to a best friend. What is it that you really appreciate about me? Are you kidding? You're one of the nicest people I have ever met. You have such a wonderful heart. You are strong. You are courageous. You're able to try new things, etc., etc., etc. And how does it feel when another person compliments you? It feels wonderful, because this is what they're seeing through you. That's why they're your best friend. They're able to see these qualities through you and will want to become your friend. You're not going to get best friends who think that you're absolutely miserable and they see nothing great about you at all. That is not friendship. It is the people who are able to see the God, the goddess within you, and are able to easily share the strengths that they see through you. And that is how the symmetry of relationship works together. They are the catalyst of your support. So look into the catalysts of your support. Look into the integration effects about how this is able to move yourself into the idea of recognizing, what is it that I've been holding on to for so long? Through your strengths, you're now able to determine. And as you're able to determine, you let go. That is the result. That is not the function in regards to the, shall we say, inception of action. It is the result itself that comes into play, that will then become granted from what you see that you have been holding on for. You're not just going to voluntarily let go when you don't know what you're holding on to. As you discover it, as you look into the idea of the inadequacy, to now bring forward adequacy to it, now you are able to loosen the grip. Now the cords can be unkinked, and now you realize that it can be let go because it no longer belongs to you. In order for something to attain a result of letting go, it must first be understood to realize why you have been clinging into it as a form of compensation from not allowing yourself to get to know who you are in the fundamentals of neutrality and balance together. We thank you very much. All right, thank you very much, Eric. So we'll go ahead and move on to another question here. And again, if you guys still have questions, you haven't, feel free to post yet. By all means, feel free to go ahead. So again, I'm just kind of looking through the list. I think I'll go right down to the bottom here and see what we got here. Yeah, a lot of questions, guys. It's fantastic. So many. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to keep looking and try and go right to the bottom. There's a lot of people. Okay, so okay, here might be a good one here. Okay, here's one from Vivian. Vivian asks, I have read that many ETs are only interested in helping us because of future business trading opportunities. We are a planet rich on minerals and more, what they need. So they don't want to help us out of pure love. Can you explain it to us, please? We thank you very much, Vivian, for your query. As we have stated, reality is by interpretation. Are there such beings that are simply just interested in resources on your planet? Yes. Are there such beings that will become prominent within your collective reality in the near future? No. The whole idea is that it does not matter in regards to what you feel is out there. Yes, there are other beings within this galaxy that are still warring. Yes, there are other beings within this galaxy that are interested in resources. Yes, there are other beings within this galaxy interested in your own personal genetics for the upliftment of their own civilization and really could not care, quote unquote, two hoots about you. That doesn't matter. Understand that it is an infinite, expansive universe. Ask yourself, is that the type of energy that you want to associate yourself with? Because understand, there are just as many humans that participate themselves in such similar based resources upon your planet. Do you interact with them? And if you do, why? It's about asking yourself what you personally deserve. Here's an old saying, for those who want to find pain will find it. That's the whole idea, because you are aligning yourself to the frequency that you prefer. Yes, there are such beings that exist. The majority of your collective consciousness is basically shifting itself into such a cycle that the particular type of beings that will associate together with you are the ones that are on parallel with your own natural frequency, representing resonance. That resonance, from our particular perspective, within your times ahead, represents that of love. It is not that of the idea of fear. Fear is becoming passé within your civilization. It is only there to helping you understand what you're still holding on to in the feeling of disempowerment. We understand that this is something that you have read, and we acknowledge that. But the whole idea is that if you already naturally know what you naturally gravitate to, naturally through that response, to naturally allow yourself to naturally love and naturally bring yourself into unconditional expanse, that won't become a part of your reality. It's all based upon what you prefer. Invite the people, invite the circumstances, invite the events into your reality that you prefer by first looking at what you don't. That's how this works. Dearest humans, there is an infinite, expansive form of expressions that exist beyond your world. Yes, beings of every shape and size, of every orientation, of every particular type of agenda that you can imagine exists. Does not matter, does not mean you have to play their game. You're the ones that are deciding that here is my sphere, here is my universe. Who do I invite in? Do I invite a person who looks like they want to manipulate me? They feel that they want to take my money. They feel they want to take advantage of me. They feel that they want me to take care completely of them, and they don't care a hoot about me. Do I want to invite somebody into my field who is like that? You need to ask yourself that question. It's not about other civilizations, dearest humans. It's about yourselves. Everything representing other civilizations are just extended rings seen at the trunk of a tree that you can further reach out and say, oh my goodness, there is a civilization that has some type of rapport in regards to an inadequacy that I feel about myself. Yes, because it is a radiating ripple effect. You need to ask yourself, what do I want in my reality? Who am I? What do I want? What do I wish to create? Who do I wish to bring into my reality? How can I make my reality the most amazing reality possible? When you look at that, you are not concerned about the infinitum of expression within the universe, because it has nothing to do with you in regards to your journey and your theme here and now on this planet. Reality is not only by interpretation, but it is also by invitation. You invite people in to take advantage of you. You can also invite people in to assist in the feeling of how much you love yourselves by them loving you. That's what it takes. That's what it's all about. It is chords, it is strings, it is vibration, it is energy, it is frequency. And as you allow yourself to appropriately align yourself into that energetic of allowing yourself to say, yes, this person really compliments me. I will be happy to have them in my inner circle. This person really makes me feel good because this is how I'm feeling about myself. I will bring them into my inner circle. No, this person I do not feel represents my path of where I want to go. I wish him or her well, but I will not bring them into my inner circle. They will represent themselves peripherally. That's it. Does not matter about what other extraterrestrial races are out here, dearest ones. There are countless, and there are an infinite amount of expressions about where anything can go. It does not matter. The only thing that matters is what you feel is the value, is the association, and is the credence of yourself to determine what is contained within my bubble of reality. That is the only thing that matters. So, yes, other civilizations like this exist, but it's all up to you to decide what civilization you want to play with. Because here's the thing, you're not the one that's going to be eradicating them from existence. They are always going to exist. They're always going to be in some dimension, in some reality, in some realm, in some space, in some time, in some nexus that has nothing to do with you. Choose your forms of invitations to allow your reality to complement who you are here and now. We thank you. All right. So thank you, Vivian, for that question. Okay, so now I'll go back up the list. Again, really great questions here, guys. Fantastic. Okay, so I'll go back up here. Okay. Okay, here's an interesting one here from Rick. Rick asks, will silver and gold play a part in our economy? Okay, one moment. Thank you very much, Rick, for your inquiry. Well, as we are scanning your energy right now, it is already playing some type of role within your economy right now. It is part of your trades together. Will it continue to play it? Yes. For as long as you continue to give it value and others deem it valuable within your reality, it will continue to play some part. We believe what you are stating is that will it be the majority process in regards to utilizing metals of that type to become your common currency? No, it will not. The whole idea is, again, it will be an alternate form of currency that others may feel they want to invest in, that they want to integrate together with themselves, but it will not be what you would consider to be the majority or the minority aspect of how you decide to understand exchange. Even understand that even in your times of old, that gold itself was basically replaced in the idea of a convenience through the idea of what you would know as legal tender. And so even though there is gold-backed currency that can certainly happen, it simply represents itself in different orientations because you have moved into more of a digital age. We would feel that much more in regards to your currency will actually be more electronic rather than the idea of physicalized currency that is beginning to phase itself out. Should there be any particular type of definite states of monetary constructs that are actually looking to replace your own system, will most likely be generated through the idea of electronic-based currency. That would be more of the larger scale pertaining to your own monetary systems within the years ahead. We thank you very much. Okay, thank you, Rick. Okay, so I'm just going to try and make sure I don't get repeat, guys. I know there's quite a few people that have asked the same, that have continued to ask multiple questions. So I'm going to try and get people that are have fresh questions here and a fresh turn. Okay. Okay, Christy asks, do you have encouragement and guidance for young teens? So again, this is beyond the children. This is looking into the teenagers with regards to the 2015-2020 timeframe. So thank you. Okay, Christy, so that's a very similar question, but again, it can focus on the teenagers. So let's take a look at this. We thank you very much, Christy, for your question. Again, as we have stated, that the children themselves represent innocence. Now, when you're moving into the teenage cycles, there is a little bit more of a tug of war in regards to those who felt that they have not been encouraged into the state of their innocence and are still attempting to understand who they are. The teenager stage can, in that sense, on a common level, be a very confusing stage because you are still tied in regards to the states of innocence with your children, and you are immensely confused in regards to how adults compose themselves into this reality, and you feel like you are wish-washed in between. The whole key here is being able to establish yourself as a natural foundation of trust, as someone who can be open to communicating with the teenagers. All they really want to have is to be listened to, not to feel that they need to be lectured to death. The feeling, oh, well, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, you shouldn't do this, you shouldn't do that, oh, go ahead and do this, or go ahead and do that. It's no longer about the shoulds and shouldn'ts. It's about allowing yourself to open up a space of love so that the teenager or teenagers have the opportunity to sit down with you and feel that you are listening to them because you actually are. That's the whole point. They want to feel that the value that they contribute into the household and into life is something that can be acknowledged. They also want to feel that they are not being limited to their own gifts that they naturally have. If you notice that a particular teenager of your own, in that sense, family line, is having challenges because they really want to do something and you are attempting to say, no, don't do that, there's no future in that, go and do something else, then of course they're going to continue to be discouraged because they feel that everything is their own natural attributes, natural talents have no particular credence to the point of reality. And so they feel personally worthless. And that is why they act out, because they are constantly feeling that they are being completely ignored, or feeling that they have nothing to offer society. They have nothing to offer themselves, because they have constantly been in a state of diminishment, of feeling that they are not good enough to even exist. So the key here is to listen to your children. Listen to what they're attempting to say. Treat them as adults. Treat them as human beings. They have feelings. They have great ideas. They have innovations. They are just as abundant as you are. And you are simply being that particular grounding device. Not to feel that, oh my goodness, you can't do that. You can't be a musician. You can't be an artist. There's too much of that already. What do you have to offer? You're going to get lost in the ocean with that. Then that is going to continue to make them feel down upon themselves. Because what they truly love may be the idea of art, the music, acting, whatever it may be. That may be spirituality. That may be healing. That may be generation of intuitive psychic ability, whatever it is. Get to know your child. Get to know exactly what makes them tick. Nobody knows your children better than the parents. So look into the idea about how you can listen to your child, that you really see what their heart is tempting to tell you. You really see what they're passionate about. Why do you feel that you have to be the one to bring them down? How did it feel when you were a teenager and you really had a wonderful dream and you had a wonderful idea of abundance, that this is what you wanted to do, but then your parents immediately shot you down? How did it make you feel? Your children are feeling the exact same way as you. Should that be a particular situation that you went through? Put yourself in their shoes. And here's a very common feeling of, shall we say, misalignment here. When other people are attempting to talk to you about their lives, one of the things that many of you do is you instantly put yourself in their shoes. This is a recipe to chaos. They are not asking you what you would decide to do if you were in their shoes. They are simply asking you to step outside of yourself and see a situation that can possibly unfold here that will have an opportunity for them to continue to expand by actually feeling that you are bonding together with their mind, that you are bonding together with them in openness and being able to see how they can achieve this in every way that you understand them to be. Well, I know that they have these things together, option A, option B, option C, talent A, talent B, talent C. I see they have all these particular skill sets, understandings, and I understand their behavior. Well, I'm going to channel that for a moment. When your child actually says, well, Mom, well, Dad, do you see me doing this? We would ask you to close your eyes for a moment. We would ask you to hold out your hands and see if your teenage child would like to do the same and hold hands together with you and bond with them in regards to the matrix of the situation that they are communicating with and feeling how they would respond to the situation by you knowing them in that moment. Oh my goodness, son. Oh my goodness, daughter. Yes, this could be something that could be very, very grand for you, because I know you are talented as a musician. I know you're talented as an artist. I would love to see more of your work, because I'm going to show it to other people. I'm going to show them exactly how wonderful you are contributing by doing what you love. What is the teenager's response? Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Mom. Oh my goodness, thank you so much, Dad. You're helping me. You're supporting me. You're loving me through the point of what I want to do through my heart's passion. Yes. Here's the thing, dear parents. It's not rocket science. Encourage your children. Allow them to realize exactly that you're here for them, that they have beautiful gifts to offer the world, that they truly have a passion, but it has been buried behind numbness to make it feel that everything they do is inadequate. Let that fog dissipate and allow yourself to tune into their heart and feel the passion, feel the personal power that they have towards something that they love, and realize, oh my goodness, yes, there is a grounded plan here. We can make a grounded plan succeed. We can pave a path for this. I'm going to work with my son, with my daughter, with my children, to making sure that they can live their dreams. Every human being on this planet has the right to experience their dreams. Every single one of them. All you are doing is helping to function as a guardian, to being that groundkeeper, to helping them ground, to help pave that path so that they can do this. It's all about you. You are the center of their world when they are this young. Continue to be that center of the world by showing them exactly what they're capable of, so now that they can look into their own decision process and allow themselves to evolve exponentially. That is your job as a parent, to be grounded, to continue to support your children. When they start very young, they are the essence of innocence. When they are moving into in the teenager, adolescent years, approximately around that time, they are moving more into becoming responsible. Look into how you can shift and flow and adapt with those times. There are many parents in that sense upon the planet that are, again, beginning to implement this. But much of it in that sense has been contaminated with your common morals and your common values that do not, in that sense, completely harmonize with the parent and with the child. They represent contamination. The whole key here is to realizing exactly as you know each other, you understand each other's strengths. As you understand each other's strengths, you are now encouraging each other to follow yourselves with the heart's passion in the most grandest way possible to make reality your dream state. That's where you're going as a civilization. And this is where you can go to be that grounding supporter of your children. We thank you. All right, so thank you very much, Christy. Just gonna take a glass of water here. Okay, so our next question here comes from Jane Pinter. I think is it Pinter or Pinter? I'm not sure. I'll just call you Jane. That's fine. Jane asks, will both positive and negative fourth density beings exist and interact within the same plane or space or dimension? Not sure if my words are correct, but I am referring to the understanding that Earth is moving into a fourth density. Okay, so basically just asking if third and fourth density beings or positive and negative fourth density beings are existing and interacting within the same plane. Okay, so thank you very much, Jane. One moment. We thank you very much, Jane, for your inquiry. The whole idea is that, yes, there are certain forms of instances relating to that. But here's the thing, is that what is happening upon your planet is that it is becoming much more noticeable, that beings are becoming somewhat negative in that way as you personally assign it. The reason being is because you have attained so much extremes in regards to states of disempowerment that it is now much more of a collective consciousness process for you to shift in particular frequencies where the negative and positive domains will acculate themselves accordingly. So basically what that means is that as it becomes, in that sense, the degrees of an accolade, helping yourself to realize exactly where the rewards lie in regards to the choosings that you bring forward. Everything happens in regards to the accumulations of that effect. So the positive people that you may feel are a compliment to yourself now become more of the majority of your inner circle. The whole idea is that the collective consciousness as your planet as a whole contains the idea of the smorgasbord relating to positively, negatively oriented people, but is only defined in regards to the self. The whole idea is that truthfully, there is no such thing as an externally negative or positive person. Those particular beings are addressed in regards to the meaning of the self. So it is not to say that whoever you want to say here, for example, is a positive or negative being, because that will not be looked at generically through the majority of your collective consciousness. You will decide if that person is positive or negative. You will decide if that person has some type of interaction within your reality. And by realizing this, this is moving you much more further into the idea of a fourth density connection. The fourth density connection is more so into the idea of the implicit energies that work together with others to helping you understand exactly how you can choose your reality to your preference with a greater state of ease. by looking into the mechanics of a situation and not the melodrama. The whole idea really is that it no longer matters in regards to who's positive and who's negative. That no longer really applies when you're moving more into a fourth density nexus. When you move into a fourth density nexus, you are understanding the mechanics of reality. You are attracting those in that sense that are complementary to your journey to expansion. There is expansion and there is stagnation. The stagnation would be the closest form of an ailment relating to fourth density. The idea of feeling that you're just looping around this hamster wheel rather than the idea of expanding yourself further. So it is no longer about the idea of someone who feels positive or feels negative. So no other person, no other being on your planet is generically positive or negative. It's not possible because you all interpret each other as you come into your reality. One person will always see another person in a different light. That's how it works. You're all unique snowflakes, as it were. So the whole idea is that your world will begin to transform in the idea of those particular associations to assisting you into expanding or feeling that there are certain catalysts still existing within your reality that are causing stagnation. That is the fourth density approach. That is the fourth density mentality. It's no longer about the idea of negative or positive. That is a self-construct. And the self-construct is a third density principle. The fourth density principle represents more into collective symbiosis, or an advanced human being. An advanced human being is able to look into the mechanics of reality, to understand their rearrangement. They are able to function beyond the confines of the illusion of space and time. They are able to realize that they are, in that sense, enabling themselves to completely pick and choose who they would like to continue to work alongside as they complement their own expansion. So again, much of the misconceptions in regards to your New Age movements and to your spiritual movements and that feeling is still looking at things in regards to black or white, is still looking at things are good or evil or positive or negative. It's no longer about that. It's all about being able to look into a situation to feel that its extreme is only there to teaching you about yourself, to helping you realize what you can do to transform that, to move it into a much more higher positive reinforcement so that it can come to balance. That's it. It's no longer about the idea of your Illuminati, of your New World Order, of all these other particular people who may be corporatocracies, who may have particular organizations or corporations that may be harmful for you, etc., etc., etc. Has nothing to do with you. You're only holding on to them because you feel an inadequacy of yourself, not being able to take responsibility for the personal care of your well-being. And that's it. That is the third density slump, as it were. Inadequacy, insecurity, lack of responsibility, and lack of love with the self. So as long as you exist within those lines, that will become more apparent within a third density matrix, because the third density is all about the graduation to harmonizing with the self, to taking responsibility, to following the path of the heart. As you follow the path of the heart, you move into fourth density. As you move into fourth density, you look into the idea of continual stimulation of expansion, and that stagnation truly is the ailment, and that you are looking into yourself to determine exactly where the stagnation lies, and allowing yourself to rearrange that format so that it is much more connected in neutralization, to allowing yourself to function as a harmonious graduating being of fourth density consciousness. That is the understanding. It is no longer about the idea of the positive and the negative. We thank you. All right, so thank you very much, Jane, for your question. Okay, so we're probably going to take about 3 more questions here, guys, before we wrap things up tonight. Okay, so hello, Tabo. Thank you for your statement there. Eternal love and everlasting light to all. Absolutely. Okay, just go down here a bit more. So again, if you haven't asked a question yet, please feel free to post on the Q&A app. Just seeing if we can get somebody who hasn't asked a question yet. Excitement, amazing, whoop whoop. Thank you, Kayla, Dirge, and Dankin too. Very nice. Okay, here's an interesting one. Okay, Gabriel Melchizedek asks, hello, what will happen to religions in our world in the future years? Okay, thank you, Gabriel. One moment. We thank you very much, Gabriel, for your inquiry. The whole idea in regards to your forms of religions is that they are basically stripping themselves down to realize that it is no longer about the idea of segregation. They are basically looking into the idea of understanding that they can actually get along. It is very similar in comparing your own people of different nations to each other, that other nations can get along, and so for the idea that the religions are stripping themselves down to realize that there is a consensus of realizing one true God, one true self, one true realization of the connection to the infinite. This will take some time, but you are noticing how this is happening more and more. It is indeed your newly elected Pope in that sense, who is actually doing quite the heck of a job, as it were, stripping down old paradigms in regards to what many people feel is that of the Catholic faith. There will also be other particular foundations that will be followed through your Dalai Lama and through, again, many other different religious organizations. They are all showing exactly how there can be community, how there can be cooperation. Yes, there will still be certain forms of turmoil in regards to much of the extreme religions, but those are, again, are all part in regards to certain dominating aspects that are now looking to be brought into light. So between the years of 2015 and 2020, yes, this will continue to still escalate in regards to the big question about what is God, and can many different religions ally themselves with realizing that there is a one infinite creator, or that there are other particular beings that have assisted in certain ways in the development of your culture. Well, this will not continually, in that sense, resolve itself within this next 5 to 6 years, but it will still, in that sense, begin to strip away, like a snake that is shedding its skin, the idea that more and more of it will understand the principles to where the essence of these religions became contaminated, in regards to feeling that much of the religions themselves have all been based upon a certain being's point of view, and that that particular being has considered themselves self-royalty, to where everybody else must see them in kind, and that through the word in regards to their own gospel has become the state of religion. So as you start to realize that those particular people that were very much responsible for the contamination of religious concepts are exposed in regards to realizing that they are just as human as you, and that there truly is all essences that tie back into the elemental queries of realizing your connection to the one infinite creator, to where everything else in regards to deities, in regards to other particular gods, as it were, is just the same thing, just different themes of the one. And so that is basically where your religions will come together. We sense that, again, much of the question may be, well, when will religion itself completely be harmonized on this planet? Again, it will have certain forms of phases and certain stepping stones in regards to where that is happening. But we would suggest that looking into the Akashic records, as it were, that approximately 250 to 300 years within your future, there will be much more of an extreme diminishment in regards to the idea of conflicting based religions upon your planet. It will be very, very minimalized in that way, to within around approximately 300 to 350 years, there will be a genuine acceptance in regards to the consensus of your planet, that there is that of the one infinite creator, and that spirituality truly is the key to allowing yourself to openly explore into any direction, into any phases, into any layers, into any extensions of consciousness that you deem appropriate for your own state of self-expansion. We thank you. Okay, so thank you very much, Gabriel, for your question. Okay, so 2 more questions and we're going to wrap it up here. Okay. Just laughing at some of these comments. Dang, I wish I had a question. Okay. Okay, so here's one here from Rosalie Parker. Rosalie asks, will the Naburians, Annunaki, be the first to show themselves in mass? Will people of the 3 waves of volunteers generally begin to know something of their personal home, and will they interact with their people personally? Okay. We thank you very much, Rosalie, for your inquiry. First of all, the whole idea of the Niburans of the Anunnaki in that sense has many different ways in regards to the expression of their character. The whole idea that the Niburans themselves once had a certain form of involvement with your past, much in regards to their particular involvement now, has either been in regards to those that are in cooperation together with the unification of your planet, or those that have decided to step away from the boundaries of Earth to pursue other tasks. The whole idea of what you would know as the Anunnaki themselves, again, represent different points of view. If we were to look at the Anunnaki as the feeling of the creators of your human race, those particular original creators no longer exist within your planes of existence anymore. The whole idea of what you would refer to as the Anunnaki that may be part human, part reptilian, in that sense, many of them are working together in favor for your own expansion. There are those in that sense that will have their own symbiotic relationships of different groups that will represent other agendas that will not be on par with yourselves. Again, it's all about deciding who you wish to interact with, but they will always be in some form of interaction from afar. But the original Anunnaki, the original beings that were responsible for your creation, no longer exist upon your planetary plane or within your plane of existence. They have, in that sense, what you would refer to, have retired mostly from the physicalized planes. They are existing more so in spirit. They can work together with you in certain ways, but it is through the idea of the non-physical, through the idea of the non-corporeal. Now, going back to your next question relating to the idea of 3 waves and exactly allowing individuals to work together in their own way to helping themselves move into the planet, higher degrees of consciousness. Yes, there will be opportunities for other particular contacts, again, to happen within the future. But again, this is all based upon individualized and group-based collectives, all based upon intentions to decide exactly what you wish to select, where you feel you are guided to allow this appropriation to happen. Yes, we are familiar with the 3 waves of beings in that sense that have come upon your planet and that are working together in this way. Yes, this has been happening, and then this has been happening very, very successfully. So again, your planet is indeed a transformation going place. This is happening. This is the place of transformation. That yes, other particular people will have the opportunity of these 3 waves to work together in personalized contacts with other beings, but it all depends upon the individual. We sense, Rosalie, that you are being contacted quite often. And so it would be very, very appropriate, yes, for you to continue to look deeply into these particular connections that stem mostly through the constellation that you would know as Taurus, or especially through the areas of which you would know as the Pleiades, representing 3 particular stars from which you would know as Electra, Atlas, and Alcyone. We thank you very much for your inquiry. Okay, thank you very much, Rosalie, for your question. So we're going to take one more question here before we conclude tonight. Okay, scrolling down the list. Okay, this is going to be a hard one because I know there's still some good questions here. Let me see. Okay. Oh man, this is a hard choice, guys. Okay, well, I'm going to go again to a new person who hasn't yet asked a question yet. And the person I'm seeing here is Jesse. So Jesse asks, is it true that we are to return to the goddess energy? Thank you very much, Jesse. Well, we thank you very much, Jesse, for your question. The whole idea is that, yes, this is all part of what you would know as the balancing of your own equality, that much in regards to a very, very heated masculine energy has been around your planet for a great deal of time, deeply suppressing the idea of the feminine energy. And that where you are going right now is that the actual upliftment to look into the essence of the self is all about the rising of the feminine energy, the goddess energy together within yourselves. And so your planet is moving through the idea of what you would know as your age of Aquarius, that is representative of this uprising of the feminine, allowing this goddess energy to look more into the essence of your hearts, to moving into the new eras that you feel are appropriate for your own expansion. So again, many of you have the logic down quite well. You understand a very strong solidity to reality. You understand the idea of concepts and logic and stability and solid foundation, etc. All these that represent grounded nature. Many of you have that in the bag, as it were. But it is through the indoctrination of the natural feminine energies through yourself that creates the uprising, that creates an upliftment in regards to the tarnishment to where you know masculine energy has attempted to fill the void in regards to where only the feminine energy can answer. So basically what it is involving is that the feminine energy is now starting to remove these tendrils from the masculine energy to where it feels that it must dominate itself into areas that cannot be applied, often through the idea of what you would know as denial, through fear. So basically, the feminine energy working together through all of you is now starting to coat together the masculine to bring itself back into a state of harmony, to a state of balance. One polarity cannot exist without another. And so throughout all the forcible states of attempting to suppress the feminine energy, that suppression is no longer possible. It is like an erupting volcano. And so your goddess energy, your feminine energy is now starting to rise to fill the gaps within your being, to now realize exactly what you're capable of as civilization as you look more into the depths of your essence, to expanding your culture further by beginning to expand yourself. And this is the era of the feminine. This is the aspect to where the goddess energy is now moving alongside the god, that no matter how much suppression was there, the feminine is still there to caress the face of her god, so that the masculine realizes, oh my goodness, what have I done? And now the divine god and the divine goddess can now come together. The masculine and the feminine energies are now a beautiful interwoven spiraling tree, being able to create branches of infinite creation that span throughout the cosmos, that has no end in sight. And so yes, it is indeed the time, throughout of which you would know as the goddess, the rising of the feminine is together. We want to thank each and every single one of you this evening of your time, this day of your time, for the opportunity of this interaction. I am Adronis of Sirius. Thank you again. Farewell for this timing. Our unconditional love, appreciation to you. We now return to the conduit. We will speak to you again in the infinite moment of now. Goodbye. Wow. Well, I want to thank each and every single one of you guys tonight for again being here on the at the event, and for asking your wonderful questions. I'm sorry I wasn't able to get around to everybody. So many questions here. But again, the good news is if you guys want to have private sessions with Adronis, you certainly can. You just go to consciousmatrix.com. You'll see the private sessions button there. Feel free to click on that and book your session. There's been such amazing transformations that have been happening with Adronis ever since I began this journey just under 6 years ago when I started channeling him. And thousands and thousands of people are just realizing their own potentials, because all Adronis is doing is reminding them about what they're capable of for themselves. And so he really serves as a great reminder and as a great mirror and as a great reflection for yourself. So you guys feel that you would like to have that more personal interaction with him, but you know you can ask anything. You can ask absolutely any topic that you want. Nothing is off limits. And feel free to go to consciousmatrix.com and grab a private session there. It's so rewarding, and being able to see that exchange take place, it rewards me, it rewards just, it's boundless. It's really a really amazing experience here, that, you know, I can do this. This is just my full-time commitment, and I'm just so happy to see so many other channels around the world that are starting to emerge as well. They're doing this, they love this, and it's just part of themselves, and that we all have the capability in our own way to where our hearts want to lead us. We have the commitment and the level and the premise and the understanding to make that happen. So again, thank you so much, everybody, for tuning into Adronis, the Mass Effect. And again, if you do have any questions, feel free to email me, info@consciousmatrix.com. Feel free to check out consciousmatrix.com, and of course, the psychicacademy.com, rolling out November 1st. Take care, guys. Have a wonderful day, wonderful evening, wherever you are in the world. Namaste, and may it be well with you. Goodbye.